Hey, welcome back to Evil's Comics. Hope you're having a great day. I got a review for you. This is going to be a review on issues 3 from 5, I Walk with Monsters from Vault Comics. This is written by Paul Cornell and Sally Cantirino. I know I said that wrong, but it's the artist. Cantirino, I don't know. Lettering by AndWorld Design, and colorist is Dearbhla Kelly. We are following the continuing journey of JC and David. JC being the girl and David being the guy. They are basically hunting child predators. They use the girl and they kind of use her as bait, and then they get kind of kidnapped, and basically David is like a shapeshifter kind of thing, and he comes in and saves the day and takes out the child predator. And of course, this is issue number 3 through 5. But that's basically like a quick run through. We have learned like a little bit about JC's past and what the story is really about, but it's really about when she was younger. Her father made some deal with the senator, and he was delivering him children. For some reason or other, like the father ended up giving his own son to the senator. So JC has been on the hunt for the senator, not really knowing who he was, only seeing him as a child. She kind of grew up and forgot his name and his appearance and stuff like that, but remembered he was a politician. But in the last issue, we finally found, she came across a billboard that had his his plastered face on it, and she remembered it was him. So now we have the JC and David, and they are talking about the politician and their plans about, now that she knows who it is and that's the guy. They show they have a lot of talk about the politician, saying that he's like one of the best candidates, that he's friends of both Democrats and Republicans, that he's a widower kind of thing. They do kind of do this. It's like one of my favorite parts in the story, because as you go along with David, he's not really a shapeshifter. It's like, it kind of reminds me of like Venom, like a symbiote type of situation, because he has this ability to like switch, like change into this like shadowy dog thing. And he explains later on that it's not even that he can change into a dog, it's just that's what JC wants to see, or that's what she needed, was a dog. But he has the ability to change into all kind of different things. 1 second. Excuse me, I was getting a little parched. But he's mentioned before that he has a different way of tracking and sensing and smelling, and he kind of explains it with colors. And they show right here, they do a really good job of showing like the red is like he's following a child, and basically like using the red lines and the other lines signifying other people. But he's kind of like just follow, he's able to track the child and see where it's taken. Of course, this leads him to the senator's compound, and it looks like the senator might still be taking children to this day. Of course, the whole senator thing happened when JC was a kid, and I think at this moment she is officially like 18 or something like that, or she's right at 17, turning 18. So we get into the whole like, she doesn't want David a part of it. It's her like revenge plot type of thing. He gets kind of upset because his whole thing is like, they are a group and they are hunting child, molesters, that type of thing, child predators. But, and it is kind of like one of those things where he sees it like, you're still a child, you shouldn't be privy to that type of thing. And he just doesn't like it. He feels like he's doing the blunt of the work by doing the killing and stuff like that, like leaving her out of that. But she kind of explains that they're both attached to it, and they're both like just as guilty, by admittance or whatever, even though she's not doing any of the killing. They kind of go into the backstory about the father and how she escaped being given to the politician to, because it was already hinted at that on her birthday she was going to be delivered to the politician as well. We find out that the dad like has a heart attack, and that's why that didn't go as planned, and how JC was able to escape. Technically, she didn't escape. She does. I mean, she has to call the cops and do all that stuff, and she gets picked up by another foster family. They go into a lot more of David's background, and they just kind of show you that David just wasn't an altogether guy to begin with. Like, he was really one of those guys that just screwed up like every relationship, and he was kind of a stalker, and like didn't take no for an answer, and not really like, like in a bad way, but more like in a, like once he got with the girl, he was just real lazy and keeping her like loved, and most of the time they usually show like all these panels of like breakup situations, and he's always like pleading, please give me another shot, I messed up, but I mean, it's just, it shows concurrently through his life he was kind of that type of lover where he just wasn't consistent. They do go into the fact that he's trying to change his life, and that's why he's agreed to help JC out with this whole child predator thing. They do show like what he kind of, as he sees the politician and he thinks is going to happen. I'm assuming that's what this is like him dreaming about it or thinking about it. Because right here they're still talking about the whole plot and plan, and the I don't really want you to do this, because blah blah blah, and it's kind of a back and forth. We do show more into her background as far as like, hey, she gets adopted by another family, and it's not like the bad situation that we usually hear about, but it is, she is taken in by a really good family. And everything you hear from that family is just everything that you would want. Come on, she's, she just got here, give her time, she'll open up, she just needs to know she's loved, those kind of things. And they kind of show you her version of what she's going through, and to her it's just scary. She's never been in a house that's built on love. Her house was built on hate and weird stuff like, it's your birthday and you're getting delivered to a politician for the rest of your days. They kind of show you a lot of her like inner thoughts and stuff, and that's what this is, like her freaking out and killing the family by accident, and they show her like kind of looking at a bird, and she kind of like scares the bird away. She kind of has this fear, another fear, because she is in a new house, and David at the time was just a random dog that would show up. At the time she didn't know that David was a half man or whatever. She just knew him as a dog. But eventually, like, she kind of got scared as far as that she didn't know that he was there. But we do see, like right here, that he does show up at the new house, that he has followed her, and later on he explains it as like that he remembers her because he calls her like the giver of food or something like that. We go more, the very last page is like them going more into the setup of them trying to break into the senator's house, because of course David's already been in there using his, like, let's just say his shadow technology or whatever it is, his shape-shifting technology. They haven't really explained exactly what he is, but it's kind of like the symbiote thing. Issue 4 just goes into more of their planning into the politicians, the whole thing. They talk about how heavily bodyguard he is at all times because he is a senator. They don't say, I don't think they say what state or anything, not that I can remember, they might. But it's just more in the planning. Again, I really do enjoy the art and everything. And up until this point, the story, it keeps going in a really great, like, forward fashion. It's actually really quick read. That's why you're getting these issues back to back to back, because each one of them was really quick. Trying to see, they do show the first encounter, like when she was as a kid with David as the fox and him turning into a man. Got something in my eye all of a sudden. Got like an eyelash. They do show him like shape-shifting into a man, and right here you'll see the shadow, and then behind the bushes he's like butt naked. And for her, that was like the first time when they met that, it was kind of weird, because for the longest time, from a child up until like maybe 5 or 6 years, she just knew him as a dog, and then one day she learns he's a shape-shifting man from a dog type thing. He kind of goes into, and this is in the past, but it's the first explanation of how, like, his explanation on what he is, and he explains that he wasn't born like that, and that he was going through his bad life, having real bad luck, And one day he was just walking by, and something like, like a force of nature, but they show down here with the purple like mist stuff, but it ended up cutting him, and basically it like a symbiote, it went inside him, and then ever since that day it's been a part of him. He kind of explains it that they're separate, like that he can remember, for instance, what the dog did and smells and stuff like that, but they basically live separate lives. That when the dog is the dog, it's the dog, and when he's the man, it's the man. So, like, all the times that he had spent as a dog with JC, it was really just the dog, and he kind of explains that to her because she kind of upset, like, oh, you've been creeping on me all these years, and he's like, no, 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 it's not like that. They go into this weird thing where she's trying to figure out exactly, like, how to bring the wolf thing or the symbiote out, and they show right here by she kind of like attacks him with a box cutter trying to bring it out, and it works. It does, in defense. It naturally comes out to defend him because it can't let the human die. They do show that, like, she asked him that she wants some protection, and he's like, well, I'm your protection, and she's like, well, I need more protection. And so they do this whole scene. It's the first time where they show him take a different form. But like right here, he's like the dog, and then down here he changes into the snake. And he basically, they find like a random trap house, and like wherever because they're on the road, they're always traveling. But currently they're kind of posted up. But this is in the present. So currently they're like near where the senator is. But they find like a drug house or something, a trap house, and they go in there, and basically the dog snake thing at this point steals her a shotgun. They take it back and basically have target practice, and she is not a good shot at all. And basically, and he kind of takes offense to it, because he's supposed to be like her bodyguard type thing. And she's like, well, just in case something happens to you, I'd feel more secure. They go a lot more into the whole setup of the breaking in part, and then they just kind of get into it. They use his snake form, they sneak into the roof, and they kind of weave in there. As soon as, he gets in there and unlocks everything, and, she goes in there, and she makes it into where the senator is, and we see like our first, an ominous meeting with her and the senator. And that's that issue. Last but not least, and this is a 6-issue run, so this is not the ending of the issue. We got one more issue to go. I do not have the last issue yet. It will be something that I will be trying to track down so I can finish this story. But we catch up directly right where the last page, and that's one thing I can say about this comic. Every issue, left off and continued right there. I do like that. But we see this whole situation where she has him marked with the shotgun, and she's like, why, and she kind of gets real scared, and he does a lot of the talking, and he's kind of like rambling, and he was like, and at first he's kind of like, oh, what are you doing here, little girl, and what are you doing in my office, do you know who I am, I'm a politician. And then at first he really starts to recognize her, and he was like, whoa, I know who you are, your dad used to bring me people. And then all of a sudden he stopped, and he's like, I used to have a picture of you, you were going to come here or something like that. And he's like, yeah, times have changed, and he was like, I had to go in hiding. And they do eventually show you that while he was talking secretly, he was like, creeping up on the girl so he could get the shotgun. Of course, he gets the shotgun, and he's like, aha, back where you belong, kind of thing. And he basically does this thing where he like, it, and I want to make sure again, but I mean, it's kind of weird because right here, it's like he takes her to this room, and he's like, I'll go in. And I was kind of taking it like he was locking her up or something like that. But I think I might have like seen the door wrong, like maybe it might just be the front door, because like right after that they show her like running out. Of course, the wolf thing is up here looking at, David's up there looking at her like, what the hell happened? I didn't hear a bang or anything, because they were supposed to be assassinating the senator. They basically make it back to the camp, and JC is just, and of course, she got shook up, and we know what happened. Basically, he talked her down and blah, 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 and for some reason, I don't know why, but she tries attacking David, and she's trying to bring out this thing. Now, I kind of have assumptions on why, but they don't really explain it story-wise, but I'm assuming that she's trying to bring this thing at him so he can go kill the senator. Like, she wasn't brave enough or tough enough, and she kind of failed, and she's basically trying to bring that thing out, and he's not allowing it to come out because for some other reason, which is weird because he wanted to kill the senator in the first place. I don't know. This kind of where it gets weird. They do go a lot back into the past with JC and David and their bonding relationship as they were growing up. It jumps a lot into the future, like from that point that she ran into the senator. I mean, it jumps way into the future because they start having articles of them being on the run, like the attempted assassination, because the senator had said something like he was going to keep it under wraps, like he wasn't going to say anything, and of course the next day it's like it says something about like, you know, but we'll get there. But basically they're still on, they kind of continue on with their journey. It goes like 1 year, 2 years, and it's just her and David, and they're kind of like they're still traveling on. But for some reason, like for the time after that, he won't bring the symbiote thing out anymore, and she keeps trying to attack him, trying to figure out how to provoke him enough to make this thing come out. Eventually through conversation and stuff like that, they do agree that, okay, like, you know, that maybe she did fail, maybe it's time that she really does need, you know, his help. And she kind of, this is where we see that the senator has like been looking for, and the attempted assassination thing is there. Now as I took it, this is like a year or two, because it does show dates, and it gets a little bit confusing right there. But basically right there, like at the end of this, they show that, like, you know, right as she sees that conveniently, they show that I guess the government or the police or FBI are close on it, tracking her down, her being the attempted, you know, assassination, you know, on the senator. They do show that she's like back into the, you know, that they're gonna try and assassinate the senator again, and she's like, oh, I got a different plan this time. And like what the scene is supposed to be, yes, it is revealing that like that the FBI or stuff are close to her, because Jason and David are over here and the FBI, they're all over there. But like it's something hinted with the helicopter, like she's gonna get David to take like a different shape, maybe like a helicopter shape, I don't know. There is no hint or anything on what's to come besides that the next issue is the finale. So I'm kind of curious. I'm hoping to kind of like sum it up. I do have thoughts on where I think it's going, but so far, like, there was twice where I thought it was going one way and the writer kind of like, whoop. So I don't know. I kind of see what my boy Ryan was talking about, you know, I mean, the book starts off really, really good, and it has me going. I like the whole like child predator thing, and the senator thing kind of comes out of left field, and I get that, but it's like, I don't know. So far, I do like it. I mean, the art is stellar, the writing is really good, it's really fast paced, it's really quick, the movement of the book is very nice. I just, in one issue, I'm kind of afraid that they're either going to cram so much in, or, but I don't know. We won't know until we read it, so hopefully I can find it in the next couple days, and I'll put the review up. But that was my review for I Walk Monsters, issues 3 through 5. Alright guys, I hope everybody's having a safe one. Hey, they talk about it's coming back, so make up, you know, here in Texas, they're already putting a mask mandate up, so make sure y'all mask up, and I will see y'all later.